You guys woke up from your overnight in the middle of the Dunwater, having found a teeny tiny little island with a tree growing on it to sleep safely on out of the water. Well, except for those of you who like sleeping in the water, of course. During the watch, one of you spotted some firelight in the distance, and when came morning, you all decided that, we should go investigate this. So, the one of you, the barbarian, actually, I believe it was, decided to talk to some of the native birds, just to see what was what, see if they saw anything, and was told that there were some humanoids that the frogs tangled with over that way. And you guys ended up finding a bullywog fortification. Uh, Instead of letting them come out, wave at a time, uh, one of you decided to jump over the top of it because it was only 10 feet tall and engage the entire group of them all at once. Thankfully for you guys, it all turned out well on your end. Nobody actually died. And you are now very rich compared to where you're at, considering how much platinum you found among the bodies. Uh, I believe you let one of the frog people go with a warning after slaughtering the rest of them. And you decided to take the was it the full body or just the head of the established king of the Bullywogs?
We have a full body of the king, and we also have the body of the one that kept screaming at us.
Alright, so you have two bodies that you're hoping to use as a way of potentially talking with the lizard folk. Yes. Yes, you're very rich for level 3. I believe it you are at.
Nothing says diplomacy like riding into town with bodies.
Well, when it comes to lizard folk, actually that is diplomacy.
Yeah.
Body stuffed into a bag of holding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you also found two bodies of bandits in there, or what you believe, what the you were told by the bullywog or bandits. You don't actually know for certain because their things were stripped out away from them. Uh, but you left those behind there, and now have found yourself leading up towards the door of the settlement or the cave entrance. And rather than going immediately yourself, your animal speaker found a way of talking to some local snakes, much to Lobu's dread. No offense, dread. And asked the snakes to go and investigate. And I think that is where we left off last week. So at the moment, the snakes have you've heard back from the snakes that there is at least one guard over towards the entrance. Kind of keeping an eye on things, kind of glancing at the snakes, but otherwise not seeming to be alarmed by them. What do you guys wish to do?
How far away do we think this thing is?
The entrance?
Yes.
It's not too far away. It's kind of leaning up from you kind of like parked at the waterway. There's a bit of a path. Maybe about 200 feet.
Okay.
Over your current
All right
location.
then.
I think.
I'm grabbing one of the bodies and start heading that way.
All right.
You want to take one of the bodies out of the bag of holding?
Unless you just want to take them in the bag of holding and dump them there.
No, you can. I kind of just like open the bag of holding and hold the end towards you, and just think of the bullywug and stick your hand in there. It'll come out.
All right, I do so.
Oh god.
Did you specify a bullywug or just bullywug?
The chieftain.
All right. So yeah, the king's body just kind of comes spilling out at your thought, your request, and is
Oh,
now laying
yum.
there on the floor. On the
Grab
ground.
him, grab him by one of his hind legs and just start dragging him down.
Carly, meanwhile, is kind of moving on a little bit ahead of you with her rolling cart and all of her individual little bags of holding. She hums a bit. Ah, this is exactly what I came here for, to do business with the lizard folk.
Oh, Carly, maybe you should get behind us as we head forward. We don't really know if they're friendly or not.
Oh, all right, but if you need someone to talk to them, I will definitely do so. And she kind of pauses for a minute, letting whoever is in front get ahead of her, along with anyone else who might wish to go first. So, what is your current marching order, guys?
I think I'm out in front. Do we have anybody here that speaks Draconic?
I might. Let me.
I do, says Carly.
Oh, I do as well. Do you think they speak Draconic?
I don't know, but they might not speak common.
No, I don't speak Draconic.
Do we have any sense of whether or not they speak Common?
Let's see. Roll a history check.
Rip. I know nothing about them.
Yeah, pretty much everything you know, Dovin, is from Capesk, and Capesk was actually a city-dwelling lizard folk. So,
Best spoke it, so everybody's probably going to speak it, right?
Well, worst comes to worst, we can always use my brain thingy.
That's true. Very useful ability you have.
Thank you. I think we should probably just get up in there, unless we're gonna go do a skulky version of this, so we can just not make anyone too suspicious.
I agree.
Right. Let's go in there. I'll be right behind those.
Making no attempts to hide. Just walking
Yeah,
right up to their gate.
So Topaz was going first. I guess I'll go third.
and Oceanus comes with you. Imagine Noxie's in there somewhere, following along. What about you, Dovin? And Carly's probably here in this. Oh, sorry, I was looking at the wrong direction. Yeah, Noxie is probably back here. So that means Carly is up near Topaz. Yes. So as you get up there, the lizard folk who's standing outside comes to attention and kind of narrows its eyes a bit at you. And starts saying in Draconic, "State your business, outsiders."
I glance at Topaz. You don't speak it, right?
Nope.
Does anybody else speak it? We literally just talked about this, and I was thinking about
Carly,
something.
go ahead.
Okay.
Carly, go ahead.
Am I the only one that speaks it other than Carly?
Carly speaks it. She looks like she's getting ready to say something. To say something. You hear a sharp inhale from her.
I hold up a finger to her.
Greetings, good sir. My name is Dovin. These are my compatriots, and we have come to talk, break bread, and talk about this nuisance we found outside your lands.
Thud. Drop the body in front of the guard's feet.
The lizard folk is tilting its head a bit as Dovin speaks to it, just giving him a slow blink. Then it kind of looks down at the body, and then looks over at Topaz. I see you brought one of the enemies of the region to our door. Very dead. Is this the
Yes.
meal that they're staring at Topaz as they're saying this, by the way. Is this a meal that you wish to share with the clan?
Oh, well, that was more of a turn of phrase, but if you would love to have this meal, you are certainly welcome to it. Consider it a gift. In fact, we have another, and I kind of go up a little bit and choke slightly as I pull the second one out of the bag of holding.
Those are folks.
I hear a lot of talking going on. What's come of it? Tell them that we need to speak to their chieftain.
Yeah, I'm getting to that. Trying. God, this is gross. Oh, so now that we've offered you a gift, may we perhaps speak to your chieftain or leader?
Well, I imagine the queen will be most pleased with this offering. Those folk kind of squats, kind of makes a sharp sound that it's not exactly draconic. It's more of you kind of interpret it as an alert sound. And two more lizard folk come in through the door and look around and just kind of look down at the bodies. And the first lizard folk who's at the door turns to them and says, in draconic again, "These outsiders wish to speak with the queen, and they have brought interesting gifts. A destruction of some of the local enemies, and potentially meals." Kind of gestures down towards the bodies, which the other two then pick up and kind of nods towards you. Well, the first lizard folk that you spoke to turns back to you, Dovin, this time, instead of looking at Topaz. "I suppose if you follow me, the queen would be quite delighted. However, you will need to leave your weapons behind. We will check them in at the guard station."
Are you sure that's necessary? We have no intention of harming anyone.
"So you say, outsider, but we do not know you. We do not trust you enough to leave you with weapons unattended in our home."
Crossing my arms and looking. What are they saying?
Carly interrupts Dovin and pokes Topaz on the shoulder and says, "Oh, they just want everybody to leave their weapons behind. That's not going to be a problem for you, Topaz. You're really good with your fists."
Not a problem for me, but what, are they afraid of us? Right here in the seat of their power?
It looks like it's just a common thing for them to do.
Is everybody okay with that, or would?
I think Lobu
I'm not sure.
immediately starts taking off all of his weapons, especially the extraneous ones that he's carrying for no good reason, and just kind of dropping them in a pile.
Dovin, could you ask them if I could keep my staff? Tell them I needed to walk.
Oh, I'm sure they would have no problem with you bringing your walking stick.
Mm-hmm.
I shrug, take off the single bandolier I have that holds darts and spear and dagger, all of it, drop it on the ground. I'm not going to bother giving them my net unless they make me.
They don't want our nets, do they?
All right, I'll drop my longsword and my light crossbow on the ground.
It looks like I have a walking stick too.
Alright. Let me get your tokens all set up here.
Yeah, I'll drop my shield.
Dovin.
9 darts, better be 9 when I pick them up.
Of
And the
course.
silver spear, not a regular one.
No.
I think as Lobu's dropping his last dagger, he looks around at all of you guys and he's like, "Haha, I really hope it doesn't go bad in there. I don't have any spells."
We'll be fine. We were told not to start a war. We won't start a war.
I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, they're talking to us. We brought them gifts. They're letting us talk to their leader.
And they'll let me bring my quarterstaff in?
Dovin, how do you wish to phrase this to the lizard folk?
We've even got a cart full of colorful trinkets. Savages love trinkets.
I would just gonna not even bring up the quarterstaff and just use them as walking sticks.
The lizard folk is currently eyeing the walking stick as the another guard comes out and just starts collecting the equipment.
Does this bother you? I promise this is merely just a walking stick. It's not.
Roll persuasion.
Oh.
The lizard folk turns towards Volan and says, "Do you really need this to walk?" But this is, of course, in Draconic. Carly takes pity on Volan and translates quickly to her.
Carly, how do you say yes in Draconic?
She gives you a word.
Yeah, I'll say yes, I need it.
And now you may roll persuasion.
Okay.
Can I help by just not? Does not matter.
So we're stuck at the gate while all this is going on.
If you have trouble walking, we can assist. The lizard folk suggests.
Will you carry me?
They're making a fuss over that. I'm stepping up to that guard. It's a stick.
The guard just
Found
kind
it.
of gazes at Topaz and blinks its big eyes.
I'm
Then
just
looks
gonna
over.
put.
Then looks over
I-
towards Dovin and Carly and basically asks, "What is this one attempting to do? Make eye
do
contact
the-
with me?"
Typical tourist thing. I speak louder and slower. A stick.
Now, they understand, and let's not get more aggressive, Topaz. It's quite all right. I think they'd rather us not have our walking stick.
Fine. I look back. I know he doesn't understand me. I look at that one guard. I'm remembering you.
Just big, just reptilian eyes. It's kind of staring back at you.
I make note of any particular markings.
This one appears to have a bit of kind of bluish markings along the green, bit more
Okay.
blue under the eyes.
When everything goes to hell, he's my first one.
I'll give up my quarterstaff, but in an Orcish, I'm going to say, "You're going to regret taking my stick," and that's it.
So at this point, the guards just kind of start escorting you guys through. Let's see what you see on your way down to where the queen is waiting. Trying to see which rooms you guys go into first. Because this layer is actually pretty big. Let's see, which one has the queen again?
These things, it's like talking to actual turtles.
I found that most turtles are actually pretty good conversationalists.
Yeah.
Shut up. You know what I meant.
Lobu, I find snakes to be pretty good conversationalists, but,
Take it back.
difference of opinion.
Take it back.
Okay, give me a second. I'm trying to figure out which room this is. Ah, there it is. And which room does that correspond to? Because this map does not actually have the numbers on it.
Snakes, I believe. Snakes are pretty smart. Wasn't it one of the human religions? A snake in a garden or something like that? Talked her into doing bad things.
That's exactly why snakes are dangerous and terrible conversationalists. They're always telling you that, well, actually, and, I've never actually talked to a snake, but I assume terrible.
They're pretty single-minded. Really down to earth.
Wah, 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 wah.
I tried.
No, it's very good.
I'm just seeing
It
which
is
room
good.
to lead you guys into. Alright, there we go. So, you guys are led through the halls, led through a couple of rooms here, past them with a few lizard folk kind of eyeing you as you go. So far, I'm sorry, you guys are currently in a wall. My bad.
Could we do perception checks to try and like peek in rooms as we pass by?
Sure. The primary room you pass through, because you're actually passing just through the corridors. There's just a couple of corridors here, no other rooms. The first one you see on your left actually on your right as you enter. This appears to be a small guard room. It is bare except for the wooden benches, and there's still a couple of more lizard folk in there. We're kind of lounging around and looking. Well, not really lounging. They're more like at attention and ready to go. The next room that you guys are taken through on your way somewhere else appears to be a banquet hall. 5 unarmed lizard folk seem to be preparing this area for a feast, setting the tables with wood and stone utensils. Several long wooden tables are placed end to end in the center of the hall, with wooden benches running along each side. At the southern end, which is where you guys headed through, of the table, actually the southern end of the tables, is a large wooden chair. 4 slightly smaller chairs flank it, 2 on each side facing the table. And you guys are heading south to the southern end of the room. Placed on the tables are earthenware pots, jars, plates, and cups. 5 drinking mugs in a woven basket. Against the east and west walls are tall wooden cupboards. The lizard folk, again, just kind of glance at you as you come through and don't do much of anything else as you're being escorted.
Is there any actual food?
It looks like they're still in preparations.
Meaning there isn't any in sight?
Not at the moment, no.
I'm looking over at Oven. What are they actually eating?
That's a great question. What are you guys eating tonight? Are you preparing for a feast, special occasion?
That's not be us.
Do not worry. If you're talking to Dovin, we have been preparing for food for our guests, and now that you've brought the bullywug bodies, we'll be adding those to the pot as well. And you guys are actually led towards a rather large hall with a lot of lizard folk, it seems, in it. This open area features 6 floor-to-ceiling pillars that apologize for my pronunciations, demarcate a central area bare of furniture. In the center area, the earth and floor has been packed closer than elsewhere, as if the passage of time in many feet. Several wooden benches stand near the north and south walls. A large mattress has been fixed to the center of the east wall. Attached to it is a target dummy with the head of a fish-like creature on top. Several lizard folk are practicing combat against one another or throwing javelins at the dummy. A powerfully built and tall lizard folk stands with several of the heavily armed warriors. They seem to be observing the training through narrowed eyes. Another lizard folk stands near them, dressed in a kelp-colored robe and holding a long polished tooth. As the hall doors open and the guards come in, some of the action stops. The 2 up front, the very important, regal-looking lizard folk, and several of the others peer your way as the guards kind of bow slightly with their heads. And in Draconic, say, my good queen, the outsiders who gifted us with meats have arrived. And the one lizard folk over here, let's see, I'll shift click you guys over here in case you're not seeing, strides forward, and as the guards get out of the way, seems to be beckoning you into the hall.
Okay, well, shall we?
Let's.
Is there like a clear place for us to stand?
Yeah, there's plenty of lizard folk just kind of busy with their combat drills, so they're kind of moving out of the way so that you guys have plenty of room.
lot of deep bows from Lobu and slight shaking as he comes through the door.
The lizard folk, the leader, the one that was referred to as the queen, looks you over and nods her head slightly and says in common, welcome. Sea elves, if I'm not mistaken, and she kind of like looks at Topaz and Lubu and Oceanus as he comes up. I was not expecting sea elves. I thought that the alliance would not do well with them, as they do not get along with some of our guests. Have you
We're a
come
long way
to-
from home.
Have you come to persuade me otherwise?
I think, for now at least, we're just here to deliver these gifts and make your acquaintance.
Oh, that is much of very polite of you. So, what for has
I'd like to introduce you to my new friend Carly, who is trying to, I
Carly
believe, has
smiles
some
wide
wares
and
to
waves her
sell.
hand. Yes, hi there, you're Queenie, and the lizard folk just kind of tilts her head. And Carly continues on. Yes, I have brought many wonderful things to offer the lizard folk in trade or in purchase. Both fun and exciting items, and weapons if you need them. I've got weapons. The queen kind of tilts her head again, and yes, weapons would be useful. We did order a shipment, but the traveling folks did not come back with them yet. They're quite overdue at this point.
If you're interested in weapons, would you perhaps mind telling us why? Your need for.
Well, I imagine that your kind would be most interested in it. We are preparing to do battle with the dreaded, and GM will very much apologize for mangling the words, because I have never been good at pronouncing this. The dreaded Stanhealy.
Can you spell that?
Yeah, 1 second. Let me find the proper spelling first. There we go. I am Sanigan. Ugh, not. There's no. Why does my brain make a sound that's not there? This is why I said I have such a huge problem with pronouncing it, because my brain keeps adding letters.
Sahagin.
Sahagin. Why did
You trying to say Sahagin? I'm looking at this lizard folk.
No, she says it perfectly. I as GM
Okay.
mangle it terribly.
Sahagin.
Yeah.
Do we?
How do you possibly have Sahagin here? They never come this far in.
There is underwater waterways that are much more vast than this. But originally, we were based on the ocean side and driven away from our home.
So they're getting in here. They're getting in the waterways here.
Well, further down, down towards the. Sorry, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Down towards the mountains to the south, there is a vast underwater, a vast seawater channel, almost an underground sea that they have colonized, that leads out towards the ocean itself. They pushed us all the way over out here because of it, and we have been steadily gathering an alliance together in order to do combat with them.
Yes, well, I know Sahagin. I don't blame you. If you want weapons, though, unless we're mistaken, it seemed like you were getting them from some untrustworthy sorts of humans
Unfortunately,
back towards the big city. We call them pirates.
I'm not certain who exactly we were doing business with, only that I was promised delivery. It seems that in these trying times, I accepted the help from the wrong ones. She seems actually quite upset when she hears that they're pirates. Or at least as upset as a lizard folk's face can twist.
Well,
It seems a little
some of us had some
embarrassing.
inside channels in the big city. we might be able to help remedy the situation. But if it's Sahagin, I, I'm down with that. My people have no love for them at all. Quite the contrary.
Most true. But I imagine that you also have other enemies that we have already made friends with. Tell me,
So,
how do you individually deal with the Colinth? And as GM, I again apologize if I mispronounced it from how you might have heard it before.
I'm trying to remember what they're the.
Given you're a sea elf and given your position among sea elves, you would be aware that they are the underwater equivalent of hobgoblins,
Right.
and kind of they are to sea elves as regular hobgoblins are to normal elves.
Well, I hate them just as much as I do Sahagin. Maybe more.
And the lizard folk nods a bit. It is why we did not extend inclusion into our alliance at this moment with the sea elves, because we'd already secured an alliance with the Kolianth against the Sahagin. If that is going to be a problem, I do understand.
I once read in a book, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
How many Kolinth are you allied with?
Not too many. She tries to think for a moment. At the moment, we have only a handful here in residence as part of our alliance. But we do expect more for the actual fight against the Sahagin themselves.
Well, you wouldn't have found too many of us available anyway, unless you were speaking to a different Sea Elf clan. I don't think any of us are close enough into the coast to be of much help. I'll overlook an alliance with Kolinth to deal with Sahagin.
Yes.
How imminent is the Sahagin threat?
She thinks for a moment. Well, they do not wish to come all the way up here, as you might understand. They might have the waterway, an underground waterway to travel on if they need to, but they don't want to come all the way out here to our bastion. And we do not wish to stay here forever. We're already, I fear, upsetting some of the locals, possibly the kingdom that seems to be in this area. We have, since we've come here, had at least 2 visits from local establishment saying that this is the kingdom of Koliath, and we would be expected to pay heed to them instead of being able to maintain our independence. So we are very much hoping to get out of here and back to our own lands, unless we wish to fight yet another battle, just to secure our own land here.
Would
We'll
be
leave it to
best.
humans to bring politics into everything.
And she nods. They don't even live out here in these lands. They do not farm them. They do not do anything at this section of that river in the marsh, and yet they care that we're out here.
No, they just want to tax you.
Exactly.
They would do the same to us if they could get down to us.
Maybe we
Carly's
can.
just giggling a bit. It's like, yeah. Yeah, and sometimes they want to tax me for things I sell, too. That's why I like being an independent traveler trader.
We can't speak for them and what they do with their kingdoms or trying to tax you. We've no sway over those. But I think I speak for some of the others here. We say we could ally with you to deal with the Sahagin, provided, of course, that we had some share of the rewards.
Well, once our original home has been reestablished, I imagine this area will go back to what it was before. and then it'll be up to you to deal with the humans. She chuckles, as you see fit.
Oh, not me. I won't be around for that. Look over, maybe him, maybe Dovin.
I just nope, no way. But it's funny to think. Speaking of the humans, they might actually be willing to help you out too. Will the Sahagin be a danger to the
I imagine.
salt marsh?
Yes, Saltmarsh is on the coast. Eventually, if they're done dealing with us, then it's possible that they might wish to go after the Saltmarsh as well. But for right now, I do not care. For them, I believe they are the ones that sent the inquiries to our door.
Likely. But even if you are not terribly fond of them, they might be able to help us deal with the threat.
Perhaps. First,
And
though,
I'm
she puts up a hand. First, though, I think you need to talk with some of the other people around here and earn their trust. See if they are willing to allow you in as well. Because it's not just, again, us. I mean, we might be trying to regain our home, but there are others here, other members of the Alliance, who do also wish to deal with the Sahagin, and might be upset by your presence. We have emissaries from the Loketh, the Merfolk, as well as the Colinth. Now, I imagine the Colinth will not be impressed, but if you earn the trust of the other two, along with my shamans, you might be accepted in, and they'll be more than happy to share rewards with you. Once we take down the Sahagin, I imagine there will be treasures to be plundered, things that were not simply of our old home. And there might be things here that people might want to part with. What say you?
That works for me.
Yeah,
So
I'm into it.
yeah, go around to different camps and convince them we want to help.
Yeah, I am in agreement with that.
Can I, Topaz? Do you mind telling me about this Sahagin? Because I'm not from around here.
Now, some call them sea devils. They're usually down around the same depths as we live. They are creatures of unnatural, voracious violence. Savages. But the enmity goes all the way back to the early times. They worship Sekolo, the god of sharks, and basically are fixated upon providing sacrifices to him, most often my own people. But if they're anywhere near the coast, they will make forays onto land and take land dwellers as well. They consider all to be their prey.
That's unpleasant.
Some of them have multiple arms, or even those freaks, the mutants that occasionally look like a sea elf and are sent off to be infiltrators and spies among my people. It does happen once in a great while.
I'm just gonna take a quick peek at Oceanus.
Oceanus is
What's
trembling a bit because he kept hearing the word Sahagin and even Kolia spread around and just kind of puts a hand on Lebu's shoulder and says in Aquan, This is not sounding like a good situation, but it's probably about what I was expecting. I had heard that the Sahagin had forced this group of lizard folk inland.
Yeah, I didn't. I guess you'd. I don't know. I didn't think it would be this when we got here. I thought we kind of left Sahagin down below.
Yes.
I not looking forward to this, but I do want to. I don't know. Even the odds.
Yes, indeed. He kind of swallows hard. Just wish there was an easier way to speak with the people here. I don't speak common. I don't speak. What's the other language that you've been speaking?
Draconic.
Yes. I only speak two languages, and that's both of our people.
Well, I could always translate for you if you'd like.
That would be most kind of you, Lebu.
So I'll fill him in on what has been going on with the whole alliance and that, because I forgot he couldn't understand, and then ask him if he wants to say anything.
He swallows hard and basically says, I would do what needs to be done in order to take care of the Sahagin threat and allow you to return home to your own lands." And he just kind of gives a bit of a bow. The queen just kind of watches this as you translate. She kind of nods. "Very well." Then she kind of looks back at the rest of the party. "So what I've been told, you have approached us without harm. So that is a lot of points in your favor. So talk to my shamans, talk to the ambassadors, and you should be all good to go. We'll be glad to share the burden and whatever rewards can be reaped beyond simply regaining our home with you."
Excellent. Where can we find your shamans and the emissaries? Ambassadors.
"Well," she says, and she looks towards the guards, "I am sure your escorts will be glad to point you in the way, or if you wish, you can walk about a bit, and we can and find things for yourself if you really wish. Of course, that, as you might, sorry, that might make you feel more in control of yourself, more so than simply being escorted everywhere. But
Sounds good to me.
As for the ministers, sorry. As for the shamans, I'm sorry, I just keep switching names around. They're out and about. I know one of them is, probably off in the south, towards the... Switch back and forth between map, listing of where people are, and actually names of rooms. In the temple. There is a shrine to Woos down there. She kind of looks at the sea elves. "I know that many of your people also share in the same worship."
I would love to pay my respects to Woos.
I'm not familiar with that name. I'm as a player. Is that
It's about homebrew. Goddess
Okay.
Of water. Here in Ollaras, should probably replace pretty much any major water deity that's good and benign and considered life-giving. For a while there was a large worship believing that she was the divine light. The divine light is known to Ollaras as the prime life-giving deity, but is also known to be another god entirely. It's actually the divine light is the title and the power, but is actually one of the major deities. over time, Woos has been worshipped as divine light. Others believe it's Peleos. Um, insert other, like, life affirming good, usually listed as good, lawful good deity here, and they believe that that deity is the divine light.
So is that the prime god of the sea elves here?
Woos would probably be a prime deity of the sea elves, yes.
How do you spell that?
Uh, hold on.
Loose.
Oftentimes she has many depictions. Sometimes she's depicted as a lizard folk, but more like seaworthy. Um, Sometimes she's pictured as a sea elf. Sometimes there's a hybrid sort of form, like a lizard folk with mammalian features such as breasts and hair, with a softer face, like less of a snout, that sort of thing. So like
Interesting.
the various statues and depictions are all different. Also depending on how old they are.
Well, are we to be allowed our weapons back since we have a common enemy?
She thinks for a moment. Perhaps. You wish to make good use of those weapons, yes?
I generally make good use of my weapons all the time.
Well,
when I need them at all.
We do have a nearby problem that you might be able to help with and prove how good you are with such weapons. If you wish for it.
Name it.
Nearby, in the marsh, there is a rather large crocodile known as Thousand Teeth. This crocodile has been worrying many of our people, along with some of our guests. Well, many of our soldiers are busy training. Those who have gone out to attempt to hunt Thousand Teeth have not met with the best results, and I have restricted them back to the lairs as a result. Perhaps
Stupid question, but have any of you tried talking to it?
our shamans did. From what we understand, Thousand Teeth does not like us here, and does not like lizard folk in general. There are apparently others in the region somewhere else that are not us.
All right then. Can go take a look.
Usually, we tend to think of crocodiles as a good omen, but this one, even after being spoken to by our shamans, has devoured many of our various members of our people.
So he's an a-hole crocodile. Got it.
Exactly.
What time of day is it?
It should be, at this point, afternoon heading towards evening.
He may be on the hunt pretty soon. If we wanted to do this tonight.
The lair is miles. It's miles from here, but it is along the some of the hunting routes. If he is in his lair at the moment, it could take as many as 8 hours to get there, depending on how fast you can move over water. Over marsh. And she kind of like eyes up the human, the tiefling, the orc. She's clearly not talking to the sea elves when she says this.
Might be prudent to take a rest.
Yes, I will need a rest before we go.
Fine.
I definitely wouldn't mind a big meal on top of that, too.
Well, you will be our guests for tonight. Perhaps then you'll be able to have some interesting conversations with our shamans.
That sounds lovely. We'd love to stay for dinner, right?
Carly claps her hands together. Yes, yes, and I'll provide some desserts. How about that?
Well,
Great.
it's settled.
Lizard folk on sugar high. Maybe they'll actually get a personality.
Not so loud.
Wasn't talking about the queen.
Just the other lizard folk in the room.
The queen just the other lizard folk don't seem to understand what you're saying, but the queen is just kind of, looking at you, but she doesn't seem upset. And she says, I have spent more time among the so-called civilized peoples in my youth. It is part of the reason I rose to my station and became queen of my tribe.
I know how you feel. I've spent more than my share amongst the landwalkers. They started to rub off on me, I'm sorry to say.
Well, it is good to know of them, to understand their ways, and to know that not everything that they do and say is meant as an act of aggression, and then to understand what things they do and say are, which might otherwise be overlooked.
Exactly.
It's best
What
not
she
to,
said.
It is best not to start a war when one is not warranted.
War is very profitable, though, especially among the humans. They're always having one or another.
Profit. She kind of shakes her head at that. There are more things to life than that. Carly kind of has a deep sigh. Aww.
No, of course, there are many more things than that. But you can't deny the usefulness of gold for
Yes.
steering them where you want them.
Or for buying the occasional weapons, even if the shipment never makes it here.
We generally just wait for them to sink.
That's another way to do it.
Would you perhaps be at all interested in buying weapons from Saltmarsh?
Perhaps if they are willing to do business with us.
But they basically were. Just from the smugglers. Not the city. Is that what you mean?
No, I mean asking council, asking Saltmarsh itself,
Right,
like if they
yeah.
want to sell them weapons.
Make it legal sales, in other words.
Yes. They might be open to it if we tell them what they're preparing to fight. Even if they might not lend assistance with men of their own.
Some dwarven made, too, better than anything you'd be getting from those brigands.
Well, I and my people will be a judge of that if we manage to get our hands on some.
Well, I can tell you that we shut down the line of supply for those pirates. So you might want to be striking a new bargain then with someone else if you want weapons.
Carly grins at that one. Yeah, you can make a bargain with me. As I said, I've got weapons to sell.
How many weapons do you have to sell?
She pats one of her bags of holding. Don't worry, I've got plenty.
Oh, you might not need Saltmarsh.
The queen is eyeing Carly speculatively. We will talk.
I'm looking at her too. How many do you do?
I'm sorry. That's a good comment, Emily. But yeah, were you addressing Carly or the queen? I'm sorry.
Oh, to Carly.
Carly just smiles. Oh, I've got plenty. I could probably help the lizard people here with some, equipment. But I think first we're gonna have to make nice with them. Get them to trust us. And
Narrow my eyes at her a little
and
bit.
and she claps her hands together. I know. I'll start tomorrow on that, and you guys can go out and hunt this crocodile down. And tonight we feast.
I've been meaning to ask about that. I mean, no insult, but as someone from a faraway land, I am interested in the food that we'll be eating tonight.
Bullywug.
What? Well, yes. What else will we be having at our feast meal thing?
There will be a number of foods served, I imagine. Depends on what the hunters brought in. Probably some marsh snakes, various pigs and chickens. There might be some stews involved.
There you go, Lobo. You get to eat some snake. It'll be your best revenge.
Yes,
And now
I
that
do
you've-
love eating them.
Excellent. When's dinner?
It should be ready in 2 hours.
Good enough. I'm
Well,
going to go have a look around.
Yeah, I want to go see the. I want to go pay respects to Woos. If anyone wants to go to the temple with me.
I'll go with you.
Yeah, I'd like to go as well. Before we split up, so I have animal messenger prepared, which means I can talk to an animal and have him go all the way back to Saltmarsh and deliver a message for us. Should I talk to Edda on the council to let her know what happened here?
That seems like a real good idea, especially if we're not checking in for a couple of days.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll do that. Maybe not right this second, but I'll put a pin in that for.
So who is going where?
Temple of Woos, I think. Several of us.
I think I'll go to the Temple of Woos as well.
Is everyone for the temple, or just various members of you? Because if it's everyone, I can just drag and drop you there. Unless you want to have a play-by-play throughout the halls.
I'm cool with starting at the temple.
Yeah, let's go.
Mhm.
Alright. So, the guards that you came here with do point out and give you directions to the temple. Oops. To go big and then make it small again. That'll work. Temple is down there. There we go. Oops. So they kind of like point you off in the regular direction, and you end up wandering through various halls, just kind of finding your way, occasionally seeing small lizard folk here and there. Some hatchlings occasionally like stop and watch you. They don't seem particularly scared of you guys as outsiders, but they are a little bit curious, just like, kind of watching you. You go by as you make your way through the halls. You just kind of go south until you finally reach the temple door. Sweet perfumes hang in the air of this place of worship. At the far end, a lizard folk crouches before a small stone altar. On the altar is a statue of a stylized lizard folk that you recognize, even though yours is very different. probably both Lobu and Topaz would recognize this as one of the formations of Woos, as often depicted by lizard folk. To each side of the altar are small lit burners, while at center, just behind the statue, a candelabrum holds 4 lit candles. Above the altar, the south wall is decorated with a marine fresco of lizardfolk warriors brandishing clubs. There's even one of a crocodile, not being attacked or anything like that. More like behind and backing up the lizard folk. Blue and green drapes cover the east and west walls.
I'm trying to remember the proper ways one pays homage. There would be a religion roll. Been a while. I'm a little rusty.
The shaman kind of looks up and looks over as you come in. Kind of like sees who you appear to be for a moment, and nods a bit. And says in Draconic, "Come to this place of worship."
I'll go ahead and translate for the sea elves.
We came to pay respects to Woos, who guided us through this pretty rough voyage.
Trying to see if this guy can actually speak common tongue or not. Yeah, no, he can. He might have said the greeting in Draconic, but once he sees that you're speaking back in a common tongue, he smiles and says, "In common now." Yes, well, and you are of the sea, so you must worship her for her bounties. We worship her for that as well, and for providing the life of water, but also the other traits that water represents, that it can persevere and is tough against time, wearing the enemies down when needed.
Yes, I worship her for the powers of the storm and current. Aids me in my battles.
Yes. Yes, most think of her just simply as a life giver, but she can also, the great goddess, take it away as well. And she does have her companions.
We just spoke to your queen. It seems we will be allying with you to deal with the Sahagin.
The more the merrier. I suppose either I have not heard that the Colianth have either left us, or you have found a way of making nice.
I'll deal with the Colianth. Deal with them my own way in my own time. Right now, we're all fighting on the same side. That's fine.
Well,
I don't know these particular Colianth, and my city hasn't really dealt with them that much. They don't generally get that far to us, so in terms of liking them or disliking them, don't like them, but don't hate them as much as the Sahagin.
Good. Yes. Common enemies do make interesting bedfellows, as some say.
I'm not sure about that, but I get your drift.
So, is there anything I can do for you other than perhaps guide in our version of worship of the goddess?
Burn incense, or?
Well, it has some burning already, but you're welcome to light some more.
Sure. Being told otherwise, I will go burn some incense. And kneel down before the statue.
May she bless you with healing if you are harmed, and guide your steps to be fluid like water as you attack your enemies.
Lobu's gonna like really apprehensively and slowly move up and start praying at the altar, and looks kind of a little shaky about it.
Oceanus comes near and whispers to Lebu and Aquin, "What's wrong?"
I worry that Moose isn't going to accept or hear my prayers anymore. I don't know what's going on with me, but I worry.
Have you renounced her? I cannot imagine that even with your problem, as long as you are attempting to pray to the goddess, that she would still be there for you.
That's my hope. I just, you know, I feel a little ill at ease with her or something. It might just be in my head.
He nods a bit and turns towards the statue and kneels as well. It is odd to be kneeling in front of her statue, but I suppose it's just how it works on the land.
Yeah, I miss our ways, but this is a connection.
He nods. Meanwhile, at the back of the room, Carly links arms with Vuln and Dread and says, kind of trying to be a bit quiet, but, the walls kind of echo a little bit, saying, "Wow, so what are you two up to? You two have been pretty quiet."
I'm just following the group for now. I'm seeing how the others worship.
And you, being a paladin, you worship somebody in particular, don't you? Or are you?
Yes, I do.
And who might that be?
That would be Quar.
Of course, I should have known. The look of you, the look of your armor, goddess of death. Yes, that's perfect for a paladin, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
You'll provide her many souls soon if you, since I will be staying out of the battle. She grins. Once you get into battle. And what about you, Volan? Or do you worship anyone?
I don't have much faith in gods or goddesses. I prefer trusting in myself, but this is interesting, and if it helps people, I support them.
She kind of pats Volan's arm. She kind of wraps an arm around Volan and then just pats it with the same hand on the other arm. It's like, well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, you should definitely believe in people more than gods. Gods are said to let you down. People come through, right?
They certainly can, yes.
So, does that mean this is the first temple you've been in? And then she looks over at Dread. Is this the first Woos temple you've been in?
It is.
And she then leans towards Dovin. What about you, old man? Who do you worship?
Oh, well, I don't really worship anyone in particular. I list off like maybe 2 or 3 gods that would have been notable as a librarian in a big city.
Probably a god of knowledge, or goddess of knowledge. Since you're a sort of druid, you might be interested in the Wild Mother. Let's see, I'm trying to think of if anyone else I can think of offhand. Pretty much anyone involved with either nature or knowledge probably would be something that you would look to at some point.
Yeah, I pay homage to them. I'd say I'm certainly no devout servant, as Dread here may be, but, I pay my respects.
And and forgive me if I ask you this, but you were married once, weren't you?
Joven's eyes kind of go a little sad, but then they go right back to being happy. Yeah, I was. How did you know?
Oh,
Did I
I just
mention it?
I just had a feeling. She smiles. Because you make me think that you're a dad, and you seem like the sort of person who would be married to the mom, but you're out here you're out here traveling with these people, so I'm guessing either she's gone or died.
Well, you're certainly rather perceptive, aren't you?
Oh yes, that's what makes a
Life,
a good saleswoman.
life leads us on many different paths. My path has led me here with you all. And Callie. And I give Callie a little pat on the head.
You can swear that Callie's eyes close with the gesture.
Aren't you a good friend?
I imagine if Noxie was here, she'd be holding up a card saying, "What about me?"
You're a good friend too, Noxie.
And
I give her a pat on the head.
And I imagine Noxie gives you a hug.
Oh.
But then Carly kind of looks at the group of you and says, "So hey, what do you guys think about gambling?"
It's a very good idea all of the time.
Because I've got a card game I've been working on, and I know you guys came into some money. So I would love to set up a game and see who wins. It's just a fun game I was thinking of, both luck and strategy involved.
I'd love to learn to play. I'm not one for gambling usually, but might be worth it.
I can spot you that, Dovin, if you like.
So you said it was echoey in here, and we could probably hear it, even though she's trying to talk quietly.
Yeah. Carly's one of those projector people.
Lobu is up and moving towards the talk of gambling as quickly as possible.
So Carly kind of smiles at him. So, what do you guys say about we find a place that nobody's occupied in, maybe a place with tables, and I lay out some cards?
Guys, we have to do it. I'm like, we could win. We've got this much money. We could win twice as much money potentially.
You can only win that much money if somebody else has that much money.
Or we can lose it all.
I was thinking I might be able to, if I play the game, she says, that I might be willing to wager an interesting artifact, perhaps. Or she looks at Dovin. Since you're not one for gambling, maybe you will take my spot, and if you manage to win, I just get their money, and if you don't win and they win, or maybe they get the item.
That seems like a conflict of interest.
Oh, I had to try, she grins. But still, I am willing to bet an artifact. No, just a magic item, she says. Something that I've had stashed in one of my bags for a while now.
To me, it's worth a try, I guess. Gonna put something like that up on the uni.
Oh, I'll just consider that a gift already, Carly, because we're going to take it off you. For guaranteed.
She chuckles a bit. Now, let's see. where can we find a room? Or do you think we should just stay right here and let Topaz continue to worship? I mean, we don't seem to be disturbing anybody.
Let's consult. I don't know if gambling in a place of worship is.
Oh god, I forgot about that plan.
I took that after I lost every cent I owned on that wrestling match.
Technically, Noxie stole that money back, but I don't think she ever returned it to you.
I'll never know.
So what do you say, Dread?
I'm not much for gambling.
Aw. Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Carly, if this card game doesn't work out, do you know any dice games?
Oh, of course I know dice games, but... Well, what do you have in mind?
I literally know no dice games, but I know I have a set of loaded dice, so...
I feel like Lobu might know dice games, at least like in passing. Some C elf equivalent to boxcar.
Carly seems to be tapping her index finger to her lips, looks between Volin and Lubu and says, "How about the two of you gamble against each other? Let's see what happens."
I think that's a great idea.
I guess.
What's the problem, Lobu?
I don't know. You just what do you got?
Dice?
I think
Alright,
he means
fair
to
enough.
wager, Carly says, unless you're wagering your dice.
I've got... I'm gonna say this very quietly so that I don't, get mugged later. 173 gold.
Alright, I think we can do biz.
No, wait a minute, Lobu. How much gold do you have?
It doesn't matter specifically. It's not much more than that.
Is it much less than that?
No. It's I've got 204 in gold and 4 platinum pieces.
Okay, we'll start with something small then. I'll bet you 50 gold pieces I'll win at a game of dice.
All right.
What's the game you're playing? Carly asks.
Should I make up like a fantasy, or would it, I guess fantasy boxcars would be like
I don't know.
underwater fantasy. It's like, you familiar with Farkle?
Nope.
Well, you roll a set of dice, and then you've got like 4 opportunities to get runs or collect enough points to be able to move on to. It's like weirdly complicated.
I know
to explain.
Yahtzee and I know Zombie Dice. I don't really know other dice games.
Well, it's you just roll 5 dice, and there's straights and different combos.
All right. How do you two propose to play? You're just gonna roll the dice roller?
Yeah, that works.
Sure.
Kylie says, "I'll be referee. I'll be point keeper, scorekeeper."
Should we try and play it like actual boxcars?
You guys can go for a round or two if you like.
Okay. Well, start by rolling like 5d6. And well, that doesn't seem believable. Oh wait, is it 60? What? This just isn't gonna work out without dice in my hands, actual dice.
Huh. Looks like Volan is beating you out right here. Unless it has nothing to do with actual amounts, just like duplicates. But even then, she's got 2 4s. But you have 2 4s and 2 3s.
Let's go with like totals for this. I'm gonna post Farkle rules on the Discord for later if we want to try this again.
Okay. I think at some point I'm going to teach people how to play Carly's card game because I've been working on it for the last 2 days.
I'd definitely be down to learn that.
Absolutely. Lobo, you keep your gold for this round. We'll try something else, maybe with Carly's card game.
That's very cool of you.
Of course, the only reason I was offering that is because it's something that, playing with cards, everybody in the party can play. But, it's all on you guys. Still hoping Noxie can make it tonight, but we'll see.
So no cards today?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
So Dovin was just asking, so no cards today.
Doesn't look like anyone's interested in playing just yet, but maybe at some point. So, are you guys really going to be taking on that giant crocodile I was hearing about?
That's the plan.
Ooh.
We should ask where is that? I didn't write down where the crocodile is. Did anybody else write it down?
There was a lair several miles away.
Yeah. And it suggested that walking overland, with your little easy to be pulled into the marsh feet, it would probably take you about 8 hours to get there.
Let's talk to is the shaman look conversable, or is he busy?
The shaman
doing
looks like
stuff?
he's like about done. He's about the same condition he was in when he came in, almost. But he seems about done with his current mode of worship.
I'm going to just very slowly and kind of respectfully approach him and try and get it.
He kind of like stands up and turns towards you.
So we offered to take care of the crocodile issue you seem to be having. I believe his name was Thousand Teeth. Yes.
Yes, that one.
Could you perhaps point us in the right direction or show us on a map or anything where we might find him?
I imagine some of the hunters would be able to do that better. As this is out towards some of the hunting grounds.
Thank you. And what could you tell me? Sorry? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
What could you tell us about the Lowcats and the Merfolk in this area?
Oh, you mean the ambassadors?
Yeah.
Well, I've spoken a little bit to them. The Lowcath, and he kind of like studies you. You're human and kind of looks you up and down. Do you know what a Lowcath is?
Do I?
Roll a nature check. You're not sure you've heard that name before, except recently when they heard talk of ambassadors. So clearly something that deals in the water.
Only what I've heard from the Queen herself in the past 2 minutes. Not 2 minutes, 20 minutes.
Well, they typically dwell in tribes along the seacoasts. Um, they are very much a fish people. Uh, they would barely be. Humans would never confuse them with one of themselves. We should say. Uh, they're quite resilient and quite proud. They've endured plenty of war and mistreatment and slavery among other aquatic races. And he kind of looks over towards the sea elves for a moment. But they have to have their ambassadors and emissaries here because they wish to help out with this. Sorry, I was pronouncing it fine earlier, and now my
Hagen?
Sahagin. Thank you. Because Sahagin have been known to take, enslave, and sacrifice them. So they have all many reasons to wish to combat this along with everybody else. And as for merfolk, the shaman looks at you just to see if you know what that is.
Do I?
Again, nature check.
No.
The only thing that comes to mind is half fish, half human, perhaps half sea elf. It's sometimes hard to tell.
I literally say that out loud.
Topaz, you're nearby. Do you have any response to his calling a merfolk that?
No, I'm keeping it to myself.
All right. They live in more deeper kingdoms. They they usually live in small tribes and take over old ruins that have sunk into to the bottom or that have been far overwhelmed with water. They do sometimes unite under single leaders, but oftentimes they tend to settle in caverns among the coral. They too have suffered greatly at the hands of the Sahagin.
Well, thank you for your time.
You're most welcome.
So I guess I'll want to send the message to Saltmarsh before dinner.
All right.
But other than that,
And on that, it's time to take a 5-minute break. Kind of hoping Nex will be able to join us, but if not, we'll just get on with the dinner if that's okay with you guys.
All right.
All right.
Sounds good.
5 minutes.
I'm not expecting them to have such a big play.
back.
Welcome. Still waiting for the rug to be pulled out from under us with Carly.
I noticed, by the way, but could not back your action on your sudden fear that Oceanus was actually a Sahuagin spy.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, he did appear out of nowhere. Well, he was on the ship. It's hard to say there. It would be a good twist, though.
For sure.
Hey,
Hey, you made it.
yeah, sorry I'm late.
No worries. Doing a lot of talking to. We gave them the bullywugs as a gift, and so they let us talk to the queen. And the queen told us that they're getting all the weapons and armor Bikagan,
Mm-hmm.
which are I don't actually know what they are, but they're some sort of evil sea monster people. And Topaz doesn't like him, and Lobu doesn't like him. And so we're gonna talk to other people and get an alliance going.
Alright, I am back.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Welcome, Nuxie.
Hello.
I take it that they were getting you up to speed?
Yeah.
So far you're just...
Oh, and
Go ahead.
they're treating us to dinner too.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is a big map.
Yep. Hold on, let me shift click you over here. You're currently all gathered in a small temple to Woos. And you were discussing that tomorrow you're going to go out and face a giant crocodile somewhere to gain favor with the people here.
You guys were actually gambling in the temple.
Yeah, the two of them live and were rolling dice.
If I notice that, I'm giving them a dirty look.
Too focused on the dice.
Carly is supervising. She was earlier discussing, again, card game. But once everyone's
Which
ready-
actually,
Oh, go ahead.
which I'd actually be really down to play.
Yeah.
I think we were just trying to figure out dice so we could figure out a way to stack the odds in our favor.
Do you also have a set of loaded dice, Lobu?
No, but I think I assume he picked up on. We're tight enough to where but what about dice? Might have figured that you had an angle.
Valid.
So Carly was instigating this?
Yeah, Carly was suggesting, but she wasn't originally suggesting the temple. She was.
That's at her cart.
Do you have any darts secured on you yourself?
What?
Because you left the you described leaving the bandolier with the.
Oh, damn it. You're right. No, I thought she gave him some back. didn't she?
No, she suggested if you were going off to kill the crocodile, because you'd be getting them back when you left the area. That if you came back, with the crocodile dead, that you'd be trusted to carry your weapons around in here. But for now, the weapons are staying put.
Mm. Throw a stick of incense at her.
The incense being thrown where it is, unfortunately, it seems to be heading right for Noxie. Noxie, roll a dexterity saving throw. You see the incense stick coming in time and manage to dodge out of the way of it as it plops at your feet.
She just looks at it quizzically.
Take that outside. For gambling. This is not the place for it.
She just kind of tilts her head and nods and takes it outside.
That was no way to treat Noxie.
I wasn't talking to Noxie, I'm talking to you. You win, Carly. Play your cards outside, roll your dice. This is not the place for it. This is a holy place. Show some respect.
Alright, I understand.
Shaman inclines his head, looks to be giving you an approving look.
She's totally right, We should find a better spot. Places with tables and drinks.
She just kind of hands it to you. Well, no, she didn't pick it up. Never mind.
Maybe the dining hall, Carly suggests. We can go there. I can set up some cupcakes, perhaps. I imagine the fish cakes would be a big hit with the lizard folk, just like with you guys.
Yeah, it might be your first opportunity for a little profit around here.
Well, I've already suggested selling some weapons to them.
True. A little sugar might grease the wheels of that deal, though.
Maybe. So, have you been around have you been around many lizard folk before?
Just one. Just one.
And what were they like?
Well, to be totally honest, he was kind of a piece of shit. He kept running into building or places where he shouldn't be and then almost dying. But you could tell he had a good heart, and it was really unfortunate how he left.
Did he die?
No, at least I don't think so, but going off in this world alone is a pretty wild choice. He swam off on his own, fully cursed and wanted by the police, and didn't seem to really have a direction to go in. So,
Carly actually kind of splits her face with a bit of a smile. That might sound like an awful thing to you, but to me, that sounds like the start of an adventure. I bet he's living it up and having the time of his life.
I think it's important to stay with people, but that's just me.
Well, there is that too. But maybe he was trying to distance himself from you guys so that you guys wouldn't get wanted by the police either. If he was wanted by the police.
Roxy starts tearing up.
Carly puts her arms around Noxie and hugs her. Shh, it's okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you.
Telling Noxie to shush.
It's an automatic response.
She holds up a sign and it says, there were also those other lizard folk that pirates that we killed.
Oh yeah, forgot about those guys.
Oh, you killed some lizard folk.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Noxie knocks her head.
Maybe this is a discussion we should have somewhere that's not a lizard folk cave.
I forgot that's where we were.
So, Noxie, the Carly cheers up at that point. I know I asked this of the others, but what about you? Is there any god that you worship? Considering that's a temple in there, to Woos, the goddess of water.
Noxie thinks for a bit, and she just shakes her head.
Is it because of your voice?
She shakes her head again. She writes on a card, and she shows. I've never learned about gods before.
Oh, well, there are a lot of them. If you wish to learn about Woost, you can probably go in there and ask questions.
She just kind of. She just looks like she's in deep thought. And then she just goes back inside. Is this one the priest?
That's
Or the shaman?
The shaman, yes.
Yes. And she's gonna go up to the shaman. And she's gonna write on a card, and she's gonna show it. And it's, "Are there god for thieves?"
Shaman kind of reads it and frowns slightly. We do not tend to worship such gods here, but they do exist.
She nods. She backs away.
Carly kind of looks at Noxie expectantly. Well, what did you say to him?
She holds up another sign. Oh, she just hold up the same sign that she showed him.
And with that, the GM shall look in the book. Well, let's see. Thieves. She kind of like from sort of finger like, tapping it against her bottom lip. Well, there are a lot of deities all over the place. There's a god called Mask. He's a god of trickery. And whose symbol is a black mask. That's one I know off the top of my head. She smiles. No, that's the only one I could think of off the top of my head. She smiles again down at thing. But you know, just because they're the only one of the gods of thievery, at least probably the best well-known one, it doesn't mean that they're the only one that celebrates thieves.
She nods.
Or that would aid thieves or anything of the like.
Noxie just shrugs.
Some would say that the gods of trade, the deities responsible for trade, might also be thieves. Or, of course, there's Cyric, the god of lies, but maybe you don't want that one. They're rather evil.
Noxie thinks back to Dovin. Dovin's telling her that evil is bad. So she just shakes her head.
And she smiles and pats Noxie on the head. Well, I wish I could help you more with that. But as I said, maybe you should think about gods of wealth and trade, perhaps.
She nods and then she gives you a thank you sign.
You're welcome. So, what would you guys like to do?
I guess I'll go ahead and send the message to Saltmarsh.
Okay.
So I gotta go outside and ask.
Who will be heading with Dovin?
Babu will tag along.
So not so will Noxie.
1, 2.
So, everyone but Topaz?
Where are you going?
They're heading back up to the to the outside door so that message can be sent.
Okay, yeah, I'll go.
Alright, and Oceanus and Carly will follow. Alright. Front door is over here. Those are folk with your weapons are over here. They've been keeping them safe. They haven't been touching them. They've just been keeping them carefully in several boxes so that they don't damage each other.
I just need to find a bird to talk to. And we shouldn't be gone that long.
Alright. There's actually several hanging around nearby.
Okay, so before I do this, so we want to make sure we tell them that Saltmarsh is not in danger and that they're fighting. Well, they're not in danger from lizard folk, and they're preparing to fight Sahagin. Potentially a alliance and maybe trade. Am I missing anything?
Sounds good to me.
Alright. So the bird you give this message to kind of rubs its beak against you, finishes that morsel of food that you offer it, and flies off. Welcome back, Nuxie.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
No problem.
So they won't be able to respond back, but maybe they'll send somebody here.
Carly claps her hands together. Well, this is great. So, shall we go set up in the dining hall? It's still another hour or so before mealtime, but maybe we can stake out a table and play some cards. What do you say?
I'm into that.
Sounds fun.
Sure.
All right. Well, we're in luck. We're very close to the hall, she says. Yeah, currently various people are getting stuff ready, but they point you towards an empty table and leave you to it if that's what you wish to do.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So Carly plops herself down and pulls out a deck of cards from one of her bags.
How we play this thing, Carly?
Well, let's see if I can find the playing cards. There we go. She starts shuffling. Let's see. So, the rules should be a little bit straightforward. Each of you gets dealt 2 cards in the beginning. And you basically have these on you, and you get to decide moving one face down which one you're going to put into play. And whoever has the highest card, aces are high, wins. And they get to draw a new card. Anyone who has the same suit as that card gets to basically take their card back because they would be assumed to be part of an alliance. Everyone else simply discards that card. Now, the special card is the Joker, and if somebody plays the Joker, all cards currently in play, not counting the inventory, basically get discarded. Nobody gets to draw a new card, including the person playing the Joker. It's basically a let's kill everybody's best cards sort of deal. How does that sound, guys?
Straightforward enough.
Alright.
Oh, I see the cards.
Let's see about dealing the cards. Deal cards. Oh, oops. Forgot to actually put the amount in there. So, everyone gets 2 cards, and she starts shuffling and putting them down. And you get to decide what card to play first.
How do we do?
That's a good question when it comes to Roll20. I forget how exactly. I'm gonna draw one out. Yeah, that automatically shows you what she's played. Or do you guys not see because of the darkness?
I think I see it.
Oh, I see it.
Let me move this over here. Oops. Ah, well, that card went bust.
I just clicked on one of my cards.
Oh, no, there it goes.
I see my cards.
Oh, I see. There we go. Yeah, sorry, it's been a little while since I've actually played out the cards to see how it works exactly. So it's like you put the card down, but we have to try to remember how you get them to flip over beforehand, like so that the party can't see them initially.
If you tap your card that's directly over your name in the square, like mine says Emily Bolin, if you click on the card thing, it shows you both of your.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember though how to flip it down so that people don't see it when you're playing the card.
I got you.
Because you know it's in theory it's supposed to be everybody puts the card face down, and then everybody flips over at the same time to reveal their hand. I'm gonna use Oceanus as a stand-in for Carly.
Put a card all the way at the bottom and I can't put it back in my hand.
Hold on.
How do you flip it over?
You can go take card. You can just basically click on it like a token and go take card or flip card.
Ah.
Okay, trying to get your token spread out so that I can actually.
How do you put it down, face down, though?
Yeah, that's the only problem is I'm trying to figure out if there's a way to doing it face down, or else everybody sees what cards you have.
I can't see anybody's cards that they put down. I mean, I can see the cards that they put down, but I can't see what they are. They're face down for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that, so.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you can do if I can actually do this game outside of outside of on Roll20. because I'm not sure if you can keep them, if you can just play them face down or not.
Like, can you see what this is?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
If you right click, you can flip it.
Oh, now they look all flip over, except for what's in my inventory.
I flipped mine.
Okay. So let's see. I don't see where Noxie's card is, and I don't see a card played for Dread, but
I deleted mine by accident.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to do it.
You click and so if you click on your hands and you bring up the cards, you click and drag it onto the play mat, and that takes it out of your
Yeah.
hand.
Doesn't that bring it up face up though?
yeah, so that's the only problem. It's like I can't figure out how to get this to not do that. If there's a way of doing that or not. Because if I just try clicking on it, it just goes one way or another on there. And I'm trying to see if there's any way of editing it so that cards are infinite. Show deck to players. Players can draw cards. Choosing from specific decks. Discard pile. Back. Ah! When playing on... There we go. Face down. There we go.
What?
Now it should work for face down. I found the selection for it.
Ooh.
Let me recall. Let me recall. There we go. That works better.
Works for me.
So she says, this should be pretty simple. She thinks for a moment. Now just everybody flip your cards over. Looks like Volan needs an extra card. And as you can see here, I've won, which means I'm the only one who gets to draw a new card. None of you have a matching suit, which means all of your cards get discarded, including mine. So let's see. If I hit discard, just discard everything in there. Just discard playing cards. Discard pile. Or we'll just set up a discard pile over here. That'll work. And it says, because I... Let's see, deal one card to all players, and then an extra card to the winner of the last one, which would be me. Oh, and yeah. So she says the object again is to play your cards face down, and the winner of the game will get a special prize. So this is just a trial run, she says. You guys don't have to wager anything, but if you can beat me at my own game, I will give you an interesting prize because you've been such nice people.
What's the logo look like?
Probably a bit frantic because he's a gambling addict.
Trying to read this poker face.
Yeah. Should I roll insight?
Yeah, do it.
Alright. Everybody flip over your card. Let's see who won. See? I won again, but Lubu and Volan both get to keep their cards. They get to shuffle them back into their own hands. Whereas everyone else's card goes to the discard pile.
So how is the winner decided
The
in
highest
the
card,
end?
which is the ace, and whoever has the same suit also gets to retain their card, basically as part of an alliance.
Well, no, but in the end, like,
Oh,
how do you?
somebody has the most cards in their hand, while everyone else is out after the deck is finished.
Ah, gotcha.
And if someone has a joker, all cards currently in play get taken, and nobody gets a win for that one. Jokers are basically the bomb.
Why did somebody took my last card and deleted it, and they left me with a lower one?
What happened?
I had a card drawn. I had it sitting down below my token, and then somebody took it and disappeared. And now the one I have left is not as good.
Ouch.
Is it this one right here?
I have no way of knowing that.
Can you take it and move it around?
Oh, yeah, that's it. Somebody took it and moved it.
Alright. Flip over. Let's see who won.
I did the wrong thing. Just a second.
Just hit undo. That'll work. Noxie?
Oh, sorry. I'll flip that.
Alright. So, in this case, Volan wins. Anyone with diamonds gets to keep their card, and Volan gets an extra draw. That means Topaz gets that card back in her hand.
How do you put it back in your hand?
Just say take card.
Right click.
There we go. Deal one extra to Volan. And then deal one card to all players. It's one of those things that would probably be kind of fun in an actual table setting. Some of the controls for Roll20 are a little bit clunky when it comes to cards.
Yeah, doing the right click isn't necessarily as satisfying as flipping over an actual card.
Yeah. Noxie?
Yep. This one.
Alright. And time to flip. And Topaz wins. Nobody has diamonds, so all cards go to the discard. Deal one to Topaz.
Noxie keeps trying to bluff her cards, but she's not saying anything, so
Roll a performance check, please, Noxie.
okay.
Yeah.
Plus 0 charisma.
Yep. Hi, Vax. That me know when everyone's ready. All
Ready.
right.
Damn aces.
Ooh.
Joker. Everyone
Joker.
loses.
Oh,
Carly cackles at that. And that's why this game is a bit of strategy. Much better than just having random cards in front of you.
Blew my Joker on that. God damn it. No, my ace. I mean. God.
two.
All right, if everyone's ready, flip.
Joker again.
I'm feeling a bit chaotic.
Carly
I would have
chuckles.
won.
Ooh. We're out of cards, she says. Well, that means this will be the last hand, everyone. She looks around at the table. Time for your best card.
Not the best one. No.
Moxie's never have gambled before, so she's like, she's really frustrated that she's losing.
And flip. And Carly claps. Well, I think this means that either I win or I tie with Volan. She thinks. He looks over at Volan's hand. Yes, actually, I think we have about the same amount of cards. So, you know what? I think Volan wins. What do you say?
Hey.
Yeah, I'm for that.
Moxie gives a thumbs up.
She claps her hands. So let's go to the prize bag, shall we? She goes over to one of her bags of holding and starts to rummage around inside of it. Roland, roll me a 1d4.
Ooh.
And roll me a 1d100.
Ooh.
She pulls out a spell scroll and smiles at you. Here you are.
Thanks. Can I unfold it and see what it's for?
Sure. So roll me a let's see. Roll me a 1d8. One again. One D22. Ooh. Do you want the table to know what it is, or do you want me to whisper it to you?
Oh, whisper it first?
Alright. Alright. You unfold the scroll, and you stare at it for a minute, and realize you've discovered a scroll of suggestion.
Okay. Very cool.
Do you need a rundown of what that does?
No, I think I got it.
All right, cool.
Oh, will it be useful?
Carly smiles. Well, use it in good health.
Thanks, Carly.
She gathers up her cards just as more lizard folk filter into the dining room. Some of them stare at the oddity of what you guys are doing, but then take their seats. The queen sits at one of the bigger chairs, flanked by several several of her people.
Would you get there?
Just a spell scroll.
Well, I love spells.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna offer it.
Oh god.
Topaz. I mean, I'm not really sure if I know how to use this thing, so I thought maybe I'd give it to you or Dovin later. It could be useful for our adventure sometime down the road, or now.
All right. You just let me know.
Definitely.
All right. So soon after the lizard folk filter in and start getting their seats, various other lizard folk come laden down with platters and start filling up the various tables with them. You mostly see a lot of roasted meats, pig, chickens, bits that you think are probably parts of bullywug, along with various fishes. In addition, there are several kind of soup and stew pots with a variety of vegetables. They smell of garlic, which, out of character, I can't eat. Uh, and, there's things wrapped in seaweed. There doesn't seem to be much in the way of carbs or pastries or breads, as, Carly might put it. In fact, Carly looks a little bit disappointed at that, and then kind of leans over and whispers towards Noxie, says, what do you say that after this food is served, I pull out some of the cupcakes?
Is that those fish cupcakes or those other things?
She lifts up from Noxie's ear and looks over at Topaz. Says, I got a bit of both. I've been working on a new batch of I can work on a new batch of fish cupcakes.
Noxie gets excited and holds her hands out.
After the main meal, she says. Gotta have your
Her
dinner
ears
first,
droop.
right? But then she whispers it in Noxie's ear again. Shh, don't tell the others, but I'll flip you some dessert first. Best of the
Then she
game,
gets really
right?
excited again.
And she will roll a sleight of hand check. I'm not going to show any modifiers on her. I'm just going to see what a run day 20 does. You guys can see her handing a small chocolate cupcake over to Noxie.
Life is short. Eat dessert first.
Too true, Dovin, too true.
Noxie's actually going to put that in her bag for later, even though she does want to eat it now.
I think Lobu's sampling everything, but sticking mostly to the bullywug and the fish and the snake. If that did end up coming out.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of snake on one end of the table. Lobu, you're actually trying the bullywug?
Oh yeah.
So, constitution check from you, please. It's meat you've never had before. Let's see how your system deals with it. and it's actually quite nice. You may have never eaten a sentient creature before, but bullywug actually tastes quite nice.
Yeah. Volan, you want to try some sentient creature?
I love sentient creatures, of course. I love eating out. Oh, eating sentient creatures. That was so bad. That was so bad.
Sorry.
Like, I was planning on saying it, and then it came out, and it was so much worse.
You mean so much better.
Sorry. GM in hysterics over here.
I'd love to try some bullywug.
Gohan's gonna try everything except the bullywog, only because he still remembers stuff holding. And it was a little unsettling.
So everyone trying the bullywug meat, make sure to roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Noxie is not going to eat the
It
bullywugs.
Does not go well in Volan's system. Volan just her stomach clenches as soon as she eats it. It tastes terrible to her. Her stomach's like, oh god. Topaz, yeah, you kind of like get stuck leaning over the side and just immediately vomit. It is the worst, most foul thing you'd ever tried. Dread, you seem to be quite enjoying it.
What the hell is wrong with you two? This is disgusting.
It's good.
Lobu's just like kind of imitating like the bard like bullywug was making while it was messing with us as he eats what he assumes is that bullywug.
Truly, you become what you eat, don't you?
Big smile. You alright under there, Topaz?
Do you need a little bit of a breather?
Noxie's going to attempt to pretend to eat the bullywugs so that she does not seem rude.
Meanwhile, the lizard folk don't seem to be taking offense to Topaz and her need to throw up.
Would food poisoning be considered poison? I guess it would. I'm gonna go ahead and cast Lesser Restoration on Topaz.
Topaz takes 1 point of damage before you get a chance to cast the Lesser Restoration on her. But once you do, the vomiting and dry heaving settles down, and her stomach begins to feel better.
There, take it easy. Not everything can be amazing.
Carly attempts to slip Topaz a fish cupcake.
I don't know if I can handle that yet. Hold on.
I was just thinking it might clean your
Oh
palate.
yeah. Oh yes. Mouth that one down. Nom.
She looks over at Volan. Would you like a cupcake too to clean your palate?
No, thank you. I do appreciate the offer, though, Carly.
She smiles.
I am gonna pull out some of my rations though and try to chew on that instead.
Yeah, the bland ration really helps take the awful taste of the bullywug away.
You should have one of these. These are
I don't like seafood.
Carly takes a bit of the roast pig, and starts eating, and pulls off a rib and offers it to Volan. Here.
Fucking Topaz. Yeah, thank you, Carly.
Contradicting your earlier statement, are we?
Whoop.
Sorry. Sorry. Couldn't help it. Anyway.
Yeah, in that case, I'll just stick to consuming meats that I've tried before.
Yeah, well, there's always some good fun and adventure in trying new things, having new experiences. She leans over towards Noxie, or maybe causing a bit of trouble by stealing something?
Do I ever hear that?
Yeah. Does he hear that?
If you're sitting next to Noxie, you probably do, yeah.
Now, we are guests. I'm gonna glare ever so slightly at Carly.
Noxie holds up a
Don't-
sign. Is there anything valuable to steal? Question mark?
That's not the question.
She looks at her card, and she gives you a confused look. That exactly was her question.
That's not the right question to be asking. Question is, should you? And the answer right now is no. Everybody here is happy. Everybody here is together. We are guests for these fine folk.
And maybe more importantly, we don't have our weapons.
Not the point, but good, but also important.
I thought it was a good point, Lobu.
Thanks,
It-
Mullen.
Certainly, it is important.
meaning another fish cupcake.
How do the lizard folk look? Is this like a celebration or is this just dinner time?
This is just dinner time. Also in attendance, down towards the back of the room, the south part. You guys are currently found a table towards the north. Several fish-looking beings wander in, along with something that somewhat resembles in form it's more humanoid than the others, and its form kind of reminds you of a hobgoblin, except it's green and looks more aquatic. It kind of stops and stares over at the sea elves, then continues on and sits down at a table. The sea elves would recognize both races. The fishy one, is one of the sorry, one of the low. I'm having such a hard problem pronouncing. Sorry, Locatha. Let me type that down for you guys since I'm having problems pronouncing. And the other one, of course, is the Colianth.
So I'm looking at Topaz and Lobu. So you all don't get along very well with the Coalin, right?
That would be right.
So perhaps maybe you could go talk to the Loketha, and maybe Roland, Noxie, and I can go talk to the Coalith.
Want to do that? I mean, by all means. Get ready for probably a shitty conversation because those guys suck.
Thank you for the
Definitely
warning.
the right decision for us to split up this way. I think it's much better than maybe letting Topaz out on her own. Speak with these sea hobgoblins, basically.
Yep, basically.
Do you want me to go out and speak to one of the ancient enemies of my people alone?
I said that's very specifically a bad idea.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, no, we all agree on that.
You think you could talk to the Lokatha with Lobu?
Sure.
Let's go bring them some fish, and if they've got it, strong drink.
Alright, so who wishes to go first?
I'd be down for going first. Lobu, that is.
Alrighty. So you guys are heading over towards the lookout. Let me bring up the pictures here. Actually, just remembered I've got handouts. This is the Colianth.
Oh, they're cool.
And this is the Locanth.
Oh, they're
Yes.
adorable.
Look at the
Oh,
pet that
well
they
done.
have.
Fish
It's
heads. Poly fish.
Yeah, it's basically. Yeah, the Locanth are adorable. They have actual sea pups.
I want to see pup.
Befriend.
That face when your pet is smarter than you.
Because they have a problem with each other.
Yes, but look at them.
Well, just because we're talking to the Koreans doesn't mean we can't talk to the Lokatha later.
Okay.
I think Lobu just starts trundling over, carrying as many platters as he can, even though they're everywhere, I assume.
Oh yeah, there's they're everywhere.
And sets it down in front of Lokatha.
May as well not take any. Good thing we don't have our weapons. Don't carry any weapons toward them. They freak the fuck out. Don't touch them. They'll freak out even more. They have very strange ideas of what's polite.
Oh, really? Have you
Yes.
have you hung out with these guys before?
No, but we all know about them.
Yeah. Any?
They're like sea life with Asperger's. Okay, so let's just leave it at that and go talk to them.
Oh man, we might not actually be the best people to go and talk to these guys.
Nonsense. It's a cinch. Look, just follow my lead.
All right.
Hey, fishhead.
The
Oh,
Lobu stiffens.
the
Good
one
start.
just kind of looks up and blinks its big fishy eyes right at Topaz.
Just kidding. We're all on the same side here. You all want the Sahaga dead. We want the Sahaga dead. Let's all go kill.
Yes, the Hagen have been worrying our tribe, taking our people. Have you come to help us?
We've come to deal with them. And if that happens to help you, well, then it's a great side effect. We'd be happy for you. But yes, now we're going to go kill some Sahagan. What part do you intend to play in that?
Well, I am a hunter. I will be keeping an eye out for them, reporting back their locations, their movements, and if I can, I will poison them.
Okay. Sounds feasible. How many of you are there?
There are about 20 of us.
Is it? Okay, no, I mean that's great. 20. Sure you'll fight like 4.
How many are you?
Oh, where?
And the fish person looks over towards their table and looks back at you. It doesn't look like you have as many as we do. Although, of course, not all of us are here right now. Perhaps not all of you are here?
Oh no, we're all here. Trust me, we'll hold up our end of it.
Good then.
I brought you some food.
Breathes hard and looks over towards Lubu. Oh, and what do you honor us with? What foods?
I brought you some of the best tasting fish I could find, as well as some the stewed vegetables from the pots. I left out the bullywug because I wasn't sure that would be appropriate, but very tasty if you get the chance and the inclination.
It nods a bit. Why, thank you. It is quite appreciated.
Well,
I'm looking at them.
And just looks back at you, blinking slowly.
I thought more of you had eyes both on the same side of your head, like flounders. Are you all bottom feeders? I wasn't sure. I've heard.
We hunt both above and below the water, not just the bottoms. I hear that sea elves live mainly at the bottoms. Perhaps you are confused?
We go deeper than you, yes.
So there
We can
you go,
handle
then.
it. Do you ever have problems with the humans? I mean, are fish hooks an issue?
Every once in a while, yes.
Hmm.
Or a net. Humans seem to think that the tops of the seas are their own, and will sometimes drag nets across and snag many peoples in them, without care.
On that, we can agree.
They are careless creatures, but you seem to be friends with them.
No, I am sent here to keep an eye on them.
My
Not
mistake,
all of
then.
them are bad, just most of them.
I'm friends with that one over there. He's the dad to a crab.
Oh. Crabs are tasty. Why is he dad to one?
Humans and inbreeding.
What?
What?
Wow.
Yes, I do.
I think it's more maybe a magical thing, but they're very dadly and daughterly.
I do not think I understand what you are saying, Sea Elf.
A consensual sort of is what do you mean?
Meanwhile, Volin and Dovin, you've come over to talk to the Colianth.
Is Noxie with them, right? Noxie was with Dovin, right?
Okay, so Noxie as well.
I mean, it's not like I could talk to them, but yeah.
You're there for moral support.
I mean, if they speak Goblin, I could help.
Yeah. The Colianth is currently cleaning some kind of clam with a knife. Or perhaps it's an oyster.
Good evening, sir.
Looks up towards you. Human. It it says in common, but in a rather gruff voice. You're the
Yeah,
one with the sea elves. Kind of gestures with its knife towards Topaz and Lubu.
that's correct. I am also with this woman. Helen.
Humans are weak as it is, but you hang out with them.
Well, we make do.
Why are you disturbing my meal?
We're um. Dovin is actually taken a little bit aback by the aggressiveness. Um. Well, we've agreed to help you all with the, how do you say it again? Sahagan problem.
Oxy's sketching something on a sign while you were talking to this.
The Colianth just kind of starts flicking the knife through his fingernails and kind of glazes up at you. Talk, human.
Well, we're I go ahead and sit down at the table. Volin and I here we're with the sea elves. And wow, you're big.
Dovin, listen, you look like you appreciate strength. We're here to help because you're not strong enough to take on this threat by yourself.
The Colianth just kind of folds his arms and leans back, knife still in one hand, and just eyeing Volin. And what would you know of that?
We could test it right now, and I'll hold out my hand for an arm wrestling contest.
He thinks for a moment, sits down, puts his knife back in his sheath, and holds out his hand. All right.
Alright, rules of the game are simple. Whoever pulls the other's hand down first wins. And if I win, I want you to speak to us. That's it.
All right. I guess I can abide to that. If you prove yourself worthy, I will speak to you. All right.
Alright.
Strength check. Or athletics, rather.
You got
Athletics
this.
check. Ooh.
Oh.
He pushes his arm down. He looks a little surprised that you're so strong. And he looks at that, tries to resteady his shoulder, his elbow on the table as you almost have him down. Second check. And he kind of seems to get his second wind and pushes your hand back up towards the center. Third check.
Can I rage for this check?
Sure. His eyes go wide as you push him almost down to the top of the table. Possibly final check. But then he sees a moment of hesitation on your part and pushes you almost all the way down to your side of the table.
Okay.
You can do this, Captain Volin.
Listen, we're about to take a long rest, so I'm going to waste my last rage on this.
You don't need to rage any further, you're still raging.
Oh, perfect.
Ah.
He still manages to push it down and actually laughs. And he kind of grins at that. It's like, well, you did give it your all. And at least you're a far sight prettier to look at than your companion.
Noxie has finished her drawing. I'm going to post it in Discord.
Yes.
Is this your daughter? He kind of looks down at Noxie.
Mine?
Yes.
No, I think she's pretty much a grown woman.
Ah, she's one of those half things that's
This is
that's
so
you
good.
refer to as what? Goblins? Was that the name?
She shows that to the colons.
So you have the heart of a killer too, do you?
She just tilts her head.
You're one of those.
She didn't know what Sahagins looked like, so she just did a stick figure.
He kind of looks at that and it says to Hagen, it says, that makes me think of a human. Or maybe a sea elf. He kind of glances over towards the, towards, Topaz and, Lobu, who are busy talking to the Locath at the moment.
No, we're on the same page. We wanna get the Sahagins. Don't worry. We wanna protect what's ours. Protect their people. We strong armed our way through some bullywogs earlier today.
She gets a sign.
And they are
And it
most
says-
tasty.
We stole a boat from pirates.
Pirates. They seem to think that they own the seas too. But a few good jabs into their hull, and they're as dead as anyone else.
I don't believe we caught your name, and I'm gonna put my hand out for like a shake.
He kind of looks at your hand for a moment. Sorry, throat is sore for a moment. I am called Krantz.
Krantz. Well, it was nice meeting you, and we do look forward to working with you, and we hope that if we can't prove ourselves in arm wrestling contests, maybe we can prove ourselves on the battlefield.
Well, I'll give you a shot at that. Even if you do have strange companions over there.
Moxie holds her hand up, and she winds her arm up and puts it on the table in an arm wrestling position.
Ha! You wish to wrestle me now, little one? All right.
She nods. Oh, she might actually win.
You beat this man.
It's a strength check, right?
Athletics if you have it, or strength check if you don't.
It's yeah. I don't have foreseen that. Oh,
Yeah, but she still manages to push his hand a bit. It's not quite hitting the table, but he's kind of like locked eyes with her now.
Oh.
that's your
You gotta be kidding me.
No way.
It's amazing.
As he takes his hand away after it hit the table, he actually lets out a raucous laugh that kind of like hits the hull a bit, and some of the lizard folk even look over. It's like, you've got quite a good arm there, little one.
Moxie's like has her hands on her hips and she's just like looking smug about it. But then like she like realizes like, wait, what the fuck? I'm like really really weak. How did I win that?
You're the first mate, Noxie. You got the stuff.
Yes, now I can see better that you were not a child at all. I wonder how many more of your people can beat me at arm wrestling.
She nods.
Noxie is one of a kind.
Well, you have earned my respect, little one.
Can't believe I won that with my -1.
Yeah, the GM is impressed.
It's blowing my mind.
I'm gonna whisper to Volan, it's okay, you wore him out.
Noxie's gets her sign, and she shows it to Volan, and it says, "The first mate's got your back."
Thank you, Noxie.
Do you guys...
So what?
Oh, go ahead.
No, that's fine.
I was asking as a GM, are you guys going to reconvene at your table, or do you still have more things to say to the various individuals you're with?
I definitely don't have anything else to say. I think we slowly back away.
Carly, meanwhile, has been sharing the table with Dread, and has been, once again offering her various cupcakes. She even pulled out one with sprinkles on it. Here,
Okay,
try
I'll try
this. So, what do you do for the goddess of death, Dread?
I hunt the undead.
Ah, great profession. Great profession. You ever hunted a lich?
I'm not strong enough for one of those yet, but I will soon.
Goals to shoot for. Yes, I've heard rumors that Quare's especially not fond of liches. What's the most interesting undead you've encountered thus far?
Skeletons, I would assume.
Well, hopefully you'll see something more interesting than that at some point.
Yes, hopefully.
But hopefully it won't take your life in turn.
If I lose my life, I will lose it in service of Quar, so it's fine.
Yes. Yeah, since she does protect the dead. So that's... so... Sorry. Yes, GM Highlight. Yes. So...
Hopefully, we'll see some undead creatures, interesting ones soon.
So, but at least that means that you know that being a paladin, and especially of the goddess of death, that you won't have to worry about things that'll try for your soul when you're dead. She'll already be protecting it for you.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Well, I think that's a great reason to worship a god, especially when it comes to one of the dead.
I nod.
And then at this point, she looks up and sees the others coming towards. So that sea hobgoblin sounded like he was having a good time over there.
Yeah, the first mate did what she had to do, and we got on.
Noxie just nods in silence, like usual.
Bit of a stubborn fellow, but he's I think he means business.
That's good.
Well, it sounds like you guys did a lot better with him than we did with Locatha. I mean, those guys are party poopers.
They look adorable, though.
And they have cool pets too. A lot more fun, but they're just talking about, I don't know, poison and something or another. It's very boring.
That's kind of disappointing.
I'm sure they'll do what they're here to do. Probably half of them will get killed.
That would be terrible. I hope not.
Lobu kind of shrugs. And he's like, well, either way, I think they're fine with us being here. So we can put that down as a win.
Sweet.
Carly claps.
More friends in her.
Carly claps her hands together. Why, this is excellent news. So that means if tomorrow you go off and kill that crocodile we've been discussing, then all will be well here, and you guys will be able to, help out and get a share of the treasure and all that good stuff.
That's the plan. Although we haven't talked to the merfolk yet. I guess they didn't show up tonight.
Oh, I think they're still in their lair. I was actually talking to this one lizard guy over one of the shamans. That they speak common, that about it, and they said that that the merfolk often stay behind in their quarters because it's easier than trying to float out here.
Dovin still has that image of half fish people in his head. He has no idea what they look like. That would make sense.
She kind of yawns and stretches and pats her stomach. So, I've had a lot to eat, and I think I'm getting tired. What about you guys? I think we might be able to have your room here if we like. We don't have to go and sleep outside or anything.
That would be great. I'm ready for a nap.
Yeah, sleep sounds good.
Let's do it. Bedtime.
I was just looking something up about the encounter here. So, is there anything else you guys wish to get done before your characters go to sleep?
If there are any like higher ups in the room, like the queen, if the queen's eating with everybody, I'd pay my respects before leaving. But that's about it.
She will nod to you. So, one of my shamans will come by in the morning, if you and provide you with a map my people have put together of of how to find the lair. You will also be given a small gift, a token of our appreciation, that will hopefully help you out in this endeavor.
That's very generous. I'm looking forward to fighting this monster for the good of everybody.
She nods. And I think that if you do this as a favor, not only will you be able to share in the spoils, but we might see our way to actually sending in ambassadors over to Saltmarsh, just for the good of both us and them. So Sagan will be threatening them eventually.
That seems very prudent and wise.
Yes, indeed.
I'd like to take, before I go to sleep, I'd like to take an hour to copy one of the spells into my spell book.
All right.
Now that we're in a safe place.
That works.
I probably go to Dovin at some point. This spell that I got. It's a spell of suggestion, a spell scroll of suggestion. I don't know if you or Lobu could use this. I'm not very good at concentrating on things for long periods of time, and I'm not really a magic user.
Oh, suggestion. This would be a better present for Lobu.
Okay.
But I really appreciate you thinking of me.
Yeah, of course.
Out of character, I can't copy anything down, but you could potentially copy that into your spell book with the risk of it breaking, but I will absolutely take it otherwise.
I can only copy down ritual spells.
Uh-huh.
I got the ritual caster feat thing.
That is cool.
In that case, I would offer it up to Lobu.
Fallen. Fallen. I knew we were friends. I knew we were buddies. This is great.
Please use this wisely.
Oh, I'm gonna. You better believe it. We're gonna find some really good. Oh, it's gonna be great.
Oh, okay.
You've put the suggestion spell into worrying hands.
It's all a learning process. Also, he's not super fond of the idea of enchantment magic, so he doesn't want it.
Yeah, it's kind of like out of game. It's kind of nasty stuff, right? Like
Yeah,
kind of dark magic.
yeah, it's pretty gross. But it works really well. It's great magic.
It's a magic that GMs tend to grumble about.
Oh boy.
Anyone else have anything they wish to do?
Don't think so.
Alright. Well, with that, we'll end for this evening. And open up next week with heading for a marshy area and tackling a crocodile. And anything else that might come along the way. And thus
Noxie.
securing cooperation with the lizard folk and an alliance to eventually take on the Saigan.
And we sent a message back to town of what we're doing, right?
Yes. So any luck it will get there unharassed. And then they'll know to expect you eventually, or at least potentially a lizard folk envoy, and not react hostilely if they see them.
Oh, we're gonna take a lizard folk envoy back with us.
Well, I said the people of Saltmarsh will think that they can expect possibly, lizard folk coming to the door for the alliance, or perhaps. Oh God, I love those pictures. Or perhaps just you guys coming back soon. But either way, it's like if they see some lizard folk coming from down the Dunwater, they'll be less hostile towards them. Is basically the attitude there.
Why does that lizard folk have a fish in a bowl on his back?
It was just like a little sketch of the Woos statue as I was imagining it.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that's good.
I love your sketches, by the way. I just adore them.
Thank you.
I think I'm gonna start having Noxie do more sketches of, because I'm having a lot of